Hey everybody, it's Amber and Eric here for another summer of live. Jenny is out again this week, so you have to put up with just the two of us, but it should be a great show. We are ready to talk all things Mediavine. Just making sure that everyone... Okay, our brand team is ready. We are ready to go. Hey, Christine Cook. Awesome. All right. So we have some pretty big news, right?
Yeah, we do.
Everybody. Yeah. So late on Friday, Trista, one of our illustrious engineers, launched our 5,000th publisher. We're here to talk about that, take a little look back at the last 4 years doing ad management for content creators. I will apologize in advance for my connection. I am on hotel Wi-Fi. Let's talk about that. What was the site, Eric?
I thought we were going to talk about the hotel Wi-Fi, but the room looks fantastic, what I was saying before. It's all in pixelated form. It looks beautiful. So wonderful. Great hotel we chose for Chicago, just saying.
It's actually stunning. You're going to love it when you see it.
Looks like it. Can't wait to get there. Our 5,000th website is The Food Blog, thefoodblog.net. So I think that's pretty fitting based on our origins, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, very, very much so. I don't know how we got here. I really don't.
So we're going to figure out over this next hour.
I know. We're kind of going to have a little therapy hour, guys. So how are you feeling about all of this?
No, I think the same way we've been feeling for almost the last probably 4 years. Pretty surreal still. Mm-hmm. At this point, I don't know. You could tell me any number, and I'm still not going to believe it. It's pretty unreal to have 5,000 publishers trusting us, obviously, with their livelihoods. So yeah, no pressure.
Although I will tell you guys a secret. As soon as Trista announced the 5,000th site, his response was 7,500. So
it's fun. Come on, you got to keep the targets moving. My internal company nickname is the Cheese Mover. So
the Cheese Mover.
You can't keep that if you just keep one target.
It's very true. Yep. He got that nickname, guys, because there's a self-help book called Who Moved My Cheese about how to deal with like workplace friction and challenges. Mm-hmm. And that's our cheese mover in chief right there.
They wrote that book about me. It's great. Workplace challenges. You're welcome.
Yes. So we wanted to go a little bit backwards in terms of like talking about history and stuff like that. We've done some history stuff. Like you guys can all go and watch the Mediavine origin story on the YouTube channel. We did it at Google last year. Eric does not want to repeat himself. He doesn't like to do that. So I did have a question though, because we've never really talked about this, even like in starting Food Fanatic. Where did the name Mediavine come from?
That's because it's a hilariously embarrassing story that I will now be sharing with you and in front of everyone. So our name prior to Mediavine was iScribe Limited, which made a lot more sense back in the era of IMAX being cool and the fact that we were doing SEO for hire and basically content writing for hire. So we were iScribe. Made a heck of a lot more sense. And then obviously we switched to being a web publisher in 2006 with the Hollywood Gossip. And we were getting into the point of starting to deal directly with a lot of, ad companies, and coming in with the name iScribe Limited was sounding a little bit weird. So we decided it was time to rebrand. I had a cousin of mine, family member of mine, interning for us that summer. And the first job I gave him was come up with a new company name. And I think he knocked it out of the park with Mediavine because it's still here today. So thank you, Jeff Festa. Probably not listening, but yeah, the name comes down to Jeff's internship, and I think we all kind of agreed on it. And plus, the domain wasn't as expensive as you think. No, it was still taken because every word combined with media is taken.
It's taken.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Mediavine
works and puns to this day forever.
I still don't want to know what you paid for the Food Fanatic domain. I don't want to know.
Again, not that you want to know how much I paid for HollywoodGossip.com. That was the bad one. That's we won't share that one here, but that was the expensive one. Food Fanatic, nothing compared to that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you guys started, working with ad companies and everything like that as Mediavine, Matt and you and Steve, what did you envision? Like, is it anything like what we have now?
No, I would be lying if I pretended to envision what we have now, and I would be one hell of a fortune teller. No, because obviously that was like the perfect storm of so many events happening that led to where we are today, right? Like, if it weren't for meeting you, if it weren't for the fact that we basically kind of got screwed over by our ad management company right around the birth of programmatic first, like where that strategy wasn't insane, if it weren't for the connections we had at Mediavine, your connections, there's just so many things that came together that no one could have predicted this turn. Obviously, we've always been kind of like agile as a company and adapted to the changing industry. That's why as a web publisher, we weren't already out of business like so many of them are. But no, obviously the switch to the ad management company, which everyone can watch the old Google talk, was a pretty natural thing. So no, I won't claim to envision this. I mean, how about you when you gave up your successful career and joined us to help on Food Fanatic, right?
I thought I was taking a gig that would, allow me to stay home with my kids. And James would like a word with you, if I'm quite honest.
Getting a lot of time with the kids now.
Yeah. He gets more time than I think he envisioned. So, Christine Cook said, "Way to go on all your hard work. It's definitely paying off. Well deserved." Thank you so much, Christine. We wouldn't be anything without you guys. So thank you. So we met. We started Food Fanatic. From your side, how did our contributors sort of play into what we decided to do with the ad stuff?
Yeah, I mean, so again, I'll give like the briefest of recaps. So as it was, Mediavine already had to kind of switch our ad technology over. Again, the ad management or the ad rep firms is, I guess, what they used to be called, where they kind of did your above the fold ads. They didn't really even do necessarily below the fold ads. They didn't even do ad placements. You shoved 2 ads basically on your site. Those RPMs or those CPMs were kind of disappearing. And we tried every ad rep firm when we were watching the company dwindle. So we didn't really have a choice. We had to take the ads under our control. So that part of the business, as I was saying, like that I could have predicted. That was obviously, we didn't have a choice. I think what ended up leading to the contributors was learning that these, obviously problems that we were running into were not alone for the Hollywood Gossip or Food Fanatic. I mean, it was shared by these smaller independent publishers across the entire internet. So
well, and I also remember there was an aspect of that of food content is more expensive, and we thought that it might be a nice perk for the folks that were writing for Food Fanatic if we could handle their ad stuff for them, because originally, like, the idea was, we will just keep it to the Food Fanatics, and if you want in, you have to write for Food Fanatic. And it was,
I almost forgot about that one.
And then that quickly, like, that 180'd real quick when we realized, nope, that's not going to work.
What, you didn't want 5,000 people writing for Food Fanatic?
I mean, it could be pretty awesome, but also like, I don't think I could handle that. So yeah, like, I just think about it from that aspect, was like, the whole idea was let's give them an extra perk that, like, because we couldn't afford to pay them very much to contribute, which was always kind of a sticking point for us. And so we thought, here's something we can do that will bring value to them. Can't believe you forgot that. I'm just kidding. There've been a lot of things that have happened.
There's been a few things that have happened over the last 4 years. 5,000 or so websites have been launched, all that kind of stuff.
So when you built the tech, right? Like, when you built that initial script wrapper and you decided to lazy load, like, what was like the moment when you knew that we had something good?
Well, I mean, the technology, I think the moment we noticed we had something good was, honestly, I hate to say it came down to the money. Like, it really, like, I think we basically ended up parting ways in like a Q4, which at the time, I don't even think it really even occurred to me, because there wasn't a lot of like two-way communication with our old ad rep firm. And we were on a minimum guaranteed contract that we would basically get paid the same no matter what. We didn't care whether it was Q4 or Q1. But obviously now in retrospect, realizing that we took our Q4 RPMs and nearly quadrupled them when we took things under our own wings, like now when you look back, like that's insane. And we did it without like a sales team. And back then, no one would have ever launched technology before the sales team, right? Like we went tech first, which was insane. To this day, nobody believes that not one of the 4 co-founders here is a salesperson. So we'll give you that title, Amber, for bringing in the initial publishers, obviously.
I think we did a lot of stuff a little bit backwards as far as the ad industry is concerned. Like I remember you had more than one conversation where people told you were stupid for lazy loading the ads.
Oh, well, I mean, I think we've had conversation over the last 4 years and people are finally coming around to lazy loading, right? Like still being told, yeah, I mean, we also launched with 0 waterfalls, which at the time was insanity. Like people still to this day ask, where is my spot in your waterfall? When we're talking to ad partners, like, no, like that concept never existed at Mediavine, right? Like we launched without that. So like we launched without a sales team, without waterfall, like we launched with lazy loading, like across the board, everything we did was kind of insane.
Yeah. Like, I think it's good that we didn't know what we didn't know because we never would have tried the things that we did.
So, I mean, I came at this obviously all from the perspective of a computer engineer, and there's just no way as a programmer, you would have accepted the old way of doing things. Obviously we brought Brad on board, luckily pretty early on, and Brad's background was the old way of doing things. And he didn't understand what the heck was going on when he first came on and thought we were crazy. And I was like, well, no other way of doing business, obviously, right? Like that's the old world. And it's awesome. Well, Brad's amazing in that he could obviously easily transition to this, but most people did not.
Yeah. And I mean, I had more than one conversation with Brad where he was like, I don't know where this is going, but I think I like it.
That was fun.
Courtney Odell says lots of people still don't like lazy load. I don't get it. Yeah, I don't get it either.
So I was joking 4 years later and it's still the same thing, but and we'll get to more of this fun stuff. I think that's one of the coolest things, that we're not just changing technology for our publishers, but like we're literally changing the industry, right? Like people didn't lazy load before us, and then there's that Google article.
Yeah, that was pretty intense, man. I remember when Jenny found that and mentioned, and she's like, "Is this good?" And I was like,
being quoted by the authority on page speed. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Matt said, I think Stephen Marzi is a salesperson, at least SAILS, and then hashtag sorry. You're not though, Matt, because dad jokes are life. All right. So we wanted to talk about the growth, right? Like, I think one of the things that people don't realize about Mediavine is that we don't have an affiliate program, right? We don't offer any sort of affiliate income for recommending us. And we don't do that because we don't want to give you money. Obviously we give you money. We have the variable rev share. We have the loyalty bonus. It's not that we're trying to hold on to those pennies. It's, I very purposely, with you, Eric, we decided that we didn't want one because we wanted opinions of us out there to be real, right? And not just someone's dropping their affiliate link in a post and recommending us when they don't even use us.
100%. All you had to say was Bluehost, and I was convinced. I was in.
I was like, I do not.
Oh wait, we're not supposed to say that on the record. Sorry.
Oops.
Yeah. Well, we can edit lives, right? Nobody heard that. No,
we can't. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But yeah, so people don't realize that we've literally never slowed down. Like our applications have never slowed down. If anything, they've only gotten bigger. What do you attribute to that, to the growth?
Man, I feel like that should be directed at you, Amber, but
I mean, I will answer it as well.
Yeah, but for me, I mean, obviously it's fueled entirely by like so much of our brand, our reputation, and just the fact this is an amazing community, right? Like nobody talks like bloggers, and it's not just food bloggers. True. Like we might have thought when we first started, right? We obviously started with mostly food bloggers, but now we're seeing like there's different communities within each of these kind of different industries, niches. Yeah. And I'm going to say niches, not niche anymore. I learned.
There you go.
I'm getting fancier as we do lives from week to week.
Brad says he still likes it, by the way.
Okay, good.
Our director of
Thanks,
fun
Brad.
still likes it. Thanks, Brad. Yeah, I mean, I think, I really do think that we started out how we meant to go on, right? Like we didn't do things, excuse my French, half-assedly. Like we didn't ever just decide to do things because they were going to make money. That was never like the thing. Like I remember arguing with publishers that wanted an interstitial, and we were like, we don't do pop-ups. And then eventually, like, we gave into it, but we only gave into it for as long as it made sense. And then sunsetted that bad boy into the distance. The same with like the leaderboard ad. Like these are things that, and I still remember the, I think it had a horrible name. It was like the tint unit, like the one that would come in, like you've launched, yes, the slider that came in from the side, and you launched that thing on Jamie's site. And within like 2 weeks, we were like, nope.
Well, yeah, I mean, we had to learn what was right. Exactly. It was not a great experience. However, some of our competitors, for the record, still haven't learned. And you can see some sites you'll go to will have like, I call them, what do we call the 4-slider experience? We had a name for it. Where they'll have them like literally popping in from every direction.
Yeah.
So it could be worse. We could have not just tested it on one site, but actually, launched it.
Across. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I like to think that we err on the side of caution more than ever. By the way, your good buddy Josh is messaging me right now.
Oh, good.
Can you like knock on the wall and say stop?
He can't hear me from over here. Yeah. All the 2 offices down.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't know, guys, my podcasting partner, Josh, actually works in the same office as Eric. So they did share office walls. I guess they don't anymore. And Josh picked right now to message me about podcasting.
Yeah. You guys should do that. Are we going to do a podcast again soon? When am I back on there? Come on.
Oh my God. Yes, we are, but no, you're not.
Okay. That's fair.
So yeah, I mean, I definitely attribute like the like I think people knew very early on, like from the minute they started working with us, that they were reaching real people who actually cared about their websites, didn't just care about the bottom dollar. It's never been all about the ad tech for us. Like I still remember, I still have the MP3s of the conference calls.
Oh yeah.
The bi-weekly conference calls that we used to do when we had sort of under 100 publishers. We would do phone calls, conference calls every couple of weeks, where literally people could just get on the phone with us and ask whatever questions they had. And we would record it so that anybody that couldn't be there could listen to it after the fact. Kind of the way we do these lives now.
I was going to say, this is just the modern day era of our old conference line.
Yeah. Which is funny because I just got a portal for my kids, like the Facebook thing. And it's literally like replacing the home phone. I can call anytime I want to. I don't have to like wait for my husband to find the iPad or whatever. And my kids can answer it. It's the coolest thing. So yeah, video's the future. How about that?
I feel like we've said that a couple times around here. Still don't know if I'm going to let Facebook have a device with a camera in my house today, but one day we'll get there. Mark's building his trust back up with me slowly.
Well, you can turn the microphone off and the camera off.
Oh, good. Did it have the physical tin hat button slider that I can put over it?
I don't remember. Yes, maybe.
Okay.
But the screen flips. That's super fun. Brandon Caudle says, sending out my Mediavine love. Oh, thanks, Brandon. So as we've grown with publishers, we've grown with a bigger team. How many are we at today?
I feel like Brandon also needs a quick shout out because Zergnet was one of kind of our earlier partners, I feel like, in all of this too. So thanks, Brandon. Sending the love right back. Sorry, one more time. I got distracted.
How many, shocker. How many employees do we have?
Oh, actually, I was just told this number, so I should remember it. 60, right? It's 60. It's official.
It's actually 60. I thought we were like 62, but cool.
Oh, okay. Over 60. So, you know me, I round. So we're at like
70, 75?
70 employees, right? It'll be true soon enough.
Yeah.
No. So we're over 60 employees now, which is insane because for the longest time, it was a big deal when we brought Amber on, right? Like there was the 3 co-founders for like 10 years. kind of just doing everything ourselves with freelancers. So yeah, going from 4 to 60.
60.
And I don't even know if that 60 includes the 4 of us, but yeah, that's kind of quite a bit of company growth over the last few years.
Yeah, it's and we're hiring. We've got what, 2 positions open right now at least. So yeah. It's just kind of bananas. Do you have a favorite? No, I'm kidding.
Favorite employee? Let's do it right now.
Don't do it. I already know the answer is Brad. It's fine.
And how's that fun?
It's Brad.
I don't know.
I don't have a favorite, but you have a favorite.
Hosting contests here. And I do want to say a cool fun fact about that 60 employees is that nearly half of those are engineers, which is pretty insane.
Really cool. Right. And something like half of those engineers are female, right?
Yeah, something like that. So we have obviously, I think we have a pretty good post on that before about our diversity here on the team. And I think that is actually a very cool fact because as, again, an engineer and father of a daughter who I hope one day will grow up to be a little programmer too.
Heck yeah.
That's an important cause for me as well. So I'm glad to see it within the company we're doing that. So very cool.
Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite things about the way that we've grown the team is that, you know, we've gone at it with a concerted effort to be inclusive and just pick the best talent, which is pretty, the talent that we have is pretty dang awesome. We did a blog post with Kat. I hope we get her on the live at some point, just to talk about design. Because you guys saw that rollout of Create this past week. All of the new UI features were designed by Kat. And I think they are just so very Mediavine. So it's really cool to see people who just didn't even know that who we were as a company and that we existed come to work here and just get it, you know, right away. It's just such a cool thing.
I think that's been some of the most surreal stuff, right, about this team. Like, one, we're all 100% remote for people that don't know. I mean, since the beginning, like literally even Matt, Steve, and Eric were together in Boston for like 1 year, not even. We were co-working, or we were working at a different company. Matt and Steve were both in Boston for a while, but like that's it. Like the company has been remote for the entire existence. Yet we have people come on board and kind of get into the whole Mediavine ethos out the gate, which is unreal. Like the kind of the fact that this culture works, and I mean, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember, what did we use before Slack, like to talk to each other? Was it just email?
Yeah, it must have been just email. I don't even remember. GChat. I want to say GChat
maybe.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah, I think you're right. But there were never like any massive chat rooms like we have now. You know, we've got MVP pets, and we have a crafting channel, and we have nerd channels. Brandon Caudle says, I know who your favorite partner is. And Courtney says the new Create is awesome. Yes, we agree. Matt says Boston strong. I still have never been to Boston. I really want to go. I'm still waiting for one of my children to not be in diapers. Haha, you're just resetting that, Eric.
every couple of years, I think we're going to do that. Right when you start to see the other side, that's when you have
another one.
Someone's getting potty trained. That's not exciting. Let's bring on more diapers. Am I right? That's the bonding experience.
What Eric's trying to say is that he has another baby on the way. Well, his wife does. Yeah. She's due imminently. So we were super excited to plan the conference right now.
Right.
Yeah. Nothing like a little last minute going, you were afraid to tell me too. Tell the truth.
Well, you can't move the conference, and I can't miss the conference, and I also can't miss my child's birth. So yeah, There's some scary stuff going on there.
Yeah, it was funny, everybody. He didn't want to tell me that his wife was pregnant. And I was like, dude, family comes first. It's really okay. Okay. Are you asking me the next part? Am I asking you the next part? What's going on there?
No, let's do it. So let's talk about what we're proudest of, right? For the last, that's, I assume, what was going next.
Yes.
Obviously 4 years, 5,000 publishers, and a whole heck of a lot along the way. Yeah. What are you most proud of? What are some of your favorite accomplishments? We'll go with you first. You have more heart and emotion than me.
Oh, I won't make you feel feelings, Eric. I promise.
Now, I'm gonna get sappy. 5,000. This is the time. Let's do it.
Oh, that's sweet. Hold on. I'm just checking. My phone locked itself, making sure that okay, good. I closed Slack on my computer, guys, because it was killing the video. And we try and keep track of all your comments in Slack because the Be Live thing doesn't really work out very well. So it's just making sure we hadn't missed anything. What am I most proud of? What are some of my favorite accomplishments? So you're going to laugh, but probably one of the top things on that list is Create. I've dreamed about Create since we built the recipe card on Food Fanatic. I wasn't quiet about the fact that I really, really wanted something like that for WordPress, so that I could use it on my own website. And Create is the culmination of that, but like 10,000 times better than what you and I came up with, you know? I think there are some essential things that lived on the Food Fanatic card, like the product catalog, or recommended products or whatever, but Create is just so far beyond any other plugin I've used that I'm just really, really proud of that, and proud of all the heart and soul that those engineers put into it. Like they took all the pieces they needed out of my brain and Nicole's brain and Heather's brain and Steffi and Megan and just everybody. And then they talked to you about schema and everything that you had learned, and they just ran with it. And it's got so much of their own stuff in it too, that they came up with along the way as they did their own research that we weren't even aware of. And I think it has just turned into something that at the end of the day, I'm really, really proud of. In fact, I'm even wearing, you can't see it, but I'm wearing my Create logo.
Nice. I got to get some of those still.
Yeah. So I put it on special just for this. And then one of the other things that was kind of really unexpected for me was that we have become an aspiration for brand new bloggers. You know, I knew that we would start to get talked about by other bloggers that, you know, weren't monetizing yet, but I didn't quite realize, like, you know, I'm in some Facebook groups where it's people who are just like literally bought their domain name yesterday and loaded in WordPress today. And when they get an acceptance email from our launch team, like they're posting screenshots of that and they are beyond excited. And it's just a really surreal moment for me every time I see one of those
Mediavine Official?
Mediavine Official, yeah.
I love it,
yeah. I really want to get some t-shirts made with that. Like, I think it'd be really cool. But yeah, that I think is the other one for me that it makes me really proud, because I know that we work really hard to have a blogger's business in mind at all times. And coming from a place of being a blogger, I never felt that way about a company that I worked with as a blogger. And so for me, like, that's even more excited that they get it and they realize that, like, you know, we are there to help their business, and they're just as excited as we are. So what about you?
Oh man, I could ramble for a while on this one. I told you I'm going to get sentimental here. We're going to talk about Shih Tzus, everything. Let's do it.
Oh my gosh!
I talking about changing diapers. No, I mean, honestly, I think the coolest thing, and I alluded to this earlier, is literally the fact we're changing industries. Like, I think that's what I'm most proud of. And it's not just, obviously, we're changing the businesses and lives of our 5,000 publishers, but we extend beyond that, which I think is like surreal. to see the fact that we can have an impact. Like, just because this dude had a weird passion for page speed, it's now becoming a thing, right? Like, you see, obviously Google certainly is helping with that, but you're seeing like everyone make a much more conscious effort about it. And it's not just me screaming about it 4 years ago when people thought I was insane, but now, and for the record, Google has been shouting about this for like 10 years or something. And people only have been getting into it recently, which I don't know. I had to feel like we had some sort of influence on our obsession with things like lazy loading, as we mentioned earlier. It's cool to see us changing industries. You look at Create, which hell of a lot proud of too. Maybe not number one, but like Create is obviously amazing. I know you've been asking for that forever, so I'll give that to you for the number one.
Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, even Create, you look at like there was literally, you can mute that. It doesn't matter. It goes right into my headphone. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good.
We didn't hear it. Just you heard it.
Okay, got it. You know, these AirPods with their two different devices, they're clever. Sometimes too clever. So yeah, no, I think kind of like the changing of industries is the most surreal thing to me. Like, we will literally now go to like ad tech or advertising related things, and Mediavine is there amongst the top publishers on the internet, right? Like, we talked about our ComScore. What are we, 30? I don't want to quote it. 34?
34,
I don't even quote the number. I mean, that just shows how freaking big we all are as a group. And I think that's the coolest thing. Like, we are giving a seat to small independent publishers at the table. They're like, we're showing up and arguing at the same table that all the biggest names in the industry are at. And there's freaking Mediavine and our 5,000 publishers fighting with whoever it may be. I'm not going to name any enemies, but like at these industry events and going up against, you know, this changing industry and giving a voice to our publishers. So I think that's probably the coolest. And obviously, you know, I mean, there's so much to be proud of here at Mediavine, from the company we've built, from the products, I mean, a lot, but I'm going to go, what's that?
The Shih Tzus.
The Shih Tzus. So proud that I now have 3 Shih Tzus at home. That's what I'm most proud of.
Yeah. What are their names?
We're gonna. I'm turning off my phone, by the way, to make sure that doesn't happen again. But their names are Oreo, who would be the original, up to 15 years old, and then we have Millie and Jada, would be the other 2. Yep.
Yes. Awesome.
All right, that's a lot of feelings. What are we going on?
A lot
next?
of feelings. Notice he didn't name his children. He'll name his dogs though. Where are we going next? Oh, mistakes happen.
Yeah.
What are some of our shining examples of things we've screwed up along the way?
I mean, I think any business makes mistakes along the way. I think our publishers probably more than anyone know about ours because we're obviously super transparent. And man, if I had to name a second thing that I'm most proud of with this company is the fact that we've maintained our moral compass and have been like extremely ethical in an industry that definitely has problems with that, right? So, and you know, that is something to be extremely proud of too. But yeah, I mean, just due to our transparency, I think a lot of our screw ups are revealed. I think we have them as recently as like today. Like we're always going to make mistakes. And I think the most important thing is that we continue to learn from them. So I know that's like a cheesy answer and you probably want me to reveal some stuff, but like, you know, along the way, we've made like bad hires, like any company, learning like who's going to work in a remote culture, like how to run different departments. It's all a learning experience. I think at the end of the day, the most important thing though is just that we learn from it. And I think we do a pretty good job at it as a company, but you want to give us some more concrete, more fun ones?
I don't know. I was just thinking about the first time that a partner sort of wet the bed on like what they said they owed us and what we said they owed, and it was significant, so significant that like pretty much anybody else in the industry that had them as a partner just passed it on as a discrepancy, and we said, no, we're just going to cover that for you. That was our, we chose to work with them and that was our call. And so we're going to cover that. And I think, we've done that a few times since then. And every single time we do it, people are just like blown away and flabbergasted that we do it, but we always have done it. So it would be completely against Mediavine ethos and culture to not do that.
So it's crazy is we also even do it when we don't tell people.
Yeah. I know we do.
Like, so like fun examples of that. I mean, if people want to look this up, Seismic is like one of the largest advertisers, just went like belly up. Split up their assets in a fire sale and like bankruptcy. Part of it, I think, sold to Amazon even. But and left us with a very, 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 very large bill. And like, we don't pass it on to publishers. We eat that kind of stuff. I think that's important because, I mean, again, they didn't choose to work with Seismic. Technically, we didn't either, but that's the way exchanges work. But at the end of the day, we feel our responsibility. And again, amazing that we can choose to make that decision because we're independent.
Yeah. I don't know that a lot of people know that about. I mean, I know we have a blog post and stuff like that, but I don't think a lot of people realize that about us. I mean, I just as recently as a couple of weeks ago saw someone think that we were part of Condé Nast.
Still.
Oh. And I was like, no, we were never part of Condé Nast. So yeah, I think that's important to talk about, the fact that like we aren't owned by anybody else, and we don't take money from anybody else. We don't take venture capitalists for funds. We don't, we were never like taking money from Condé Nast. We just had a partnership for, basically they had a sales team and we didn't at the time. I think that makes us very special because we don't have, I came from a background of, I was working for a startup that had venture capitalist funds, and I saw just very quickly like how making sure that those people got paid sort of changed the entire trajectory of the company, to the point where like we ended up sold to EMC, who is now part of Dell. And the company and literally EMC bought it to dismantle it because it was competition for their product. So everything that we were putting heart and soul into at that startup, the co-founders sold, and immediately, like 2 months later, were like, peace out. And then the product as that we knew it, that we were so passionate about, was no more because EMC said, no, we don't want it anymore. And I think that gets a little lost in how important that is to the fact that we're able to do things like create and Trellis and eat those costs of like Seismic going belly up. Like that is such a big deal. And I don't think people realize it because they just don't come from that background. But yeah, we make those kinds of decisions every day that a regular company just couldn't.
So I will, I guess we should mention some of the origin story, even though, again, we talked about all this in Google, but like literally the company was started by like Matt, Steve, later Eric, later Amber, but Matt and Steve, like actually Matt technically off a loan from his grandfather. I mean, you guys can come meet Matt and Steve at the conference. They're going to be in Chicago. For those of you that are attending, they're real people. All those puns are coming from Matt himself. The real person. Come meet him. I mean, it was the four of us basically that have founded this company. It's not, through private equity. It's not through venture capital, angel investors, any of this kind of stuff. We don't answer to anyone. And I think that 100% changes the way the business is run, and allows us to create products like Create. Build products like Create that maybe aren't directly revenue generating. And a lot of the products maybe never turn a profit technically on their own if you looked at them on a balance sheet, and most private equity or whatever investors would yell at you, right?
Like they would,
like shut that down. Like there's people that are working on that could be working on something else, and it allows us to make, maybe there's still mistakes, maybe there's still bad decisions, I don't know, but what Create has allowed us to literally change the plugin space. Like before there was recipe cards. Now there's freaking how-to schema, right? Like, and that was because Amber was super stubborn and really wanted craft and DIY for some of our
I'm not stubborn. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. And so we built that, and Now, what do you know? Google officially recognized that. We were the first plugin to build that. And now obviously everyone's going to follow suit, and that's fine. I mean, you look at lists and all the things that Create is changing and will change. And we're able to pioneer that. And if it weren't for us doing that, maybe the industry would never even adopt this stuff. We don't know. This is allowing us to move the industry forward, whether people use Create or not. And I think that's going back to the whole moving an industry is like unreal.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Christine Cook says that she wants to know where she can get Mediavine gear. I don't know if we give pubs access to the company store, but I will find out if we can. I think we have linked to it in previous lives. If one of my branding folks can throw that in there. Camilla Hawkins says, you totally rock. I love that Mediavine's morals are the same as mine.
Nice.
Yeah, we're just normal people. I think that makes a big difference. Where are we at? Oh, okay. So later this week, we're going to be talking at the Future of Media later this week at the conference, we're going to be talking about the future of Mediavine. Without giving too much away, is there anything you can share that we can be excited about?
Yeah, if assuming that, my next daughter does not come in the next 24 to 48 hours and I'm able to appear in Chicago, I'm excited to talk about the future of Mediavine. Things that I can hint at, it's going to be pretty obvious, but Trellis will be mentioned, and we're going to be giving a lot of details about Trellis, I think, that haven't been revealed outside of the company before. And kind of talking about the overall direction of the company, which I think is fun because, as we like to say, ads are just the beginning. And hopefully Create is a pretty good concrete example of that. And Create, again, is just part of the beginning. There's a lot more coming in store that we're excited to slowly unveil.
Yeah. I'm pretty excited for your talk this week. I'm looking forward to watching it from the crowd. Oh my gosh.
Looking forward to figuring out what I'm going to say, because you know me, there's no prepared speech. Who knows what I'm going to reveal, what I'm not. It's going to be fun.
You're going to give Jordan a heart attack is what you're going to do.
Exactly.
Like, you're literally going to give the man a heart attack, and then Chelsea's going to come for us both. So
see, the engineers actually learn what they're building from my lives. That's how it works. And from my actual presentation.
Although Jordan is not watching because he was messaging me about what time is dinner tonight.
Okay, that's fair. We know who's watching, who's not, based on
who's slacking Amber. That's another thing, guys. I think that's so cool about like the company culture is like, yes, we are all remote, but we throw these conferences. It's not only an opportunity for us to see all of you, it's an opportunity for us to see each other. The joke goes, it's so funny every single time that we get into a lift together and someone's like, oh, y'all are from out of town. Where are you from? And whoever is in the lift just looks at each other and it's just like, well, we're from all over, but we're all coworkers. And it's just, even today with a company like Lyft, it's still like people just give you funny looks. Like, how do you exist as a completely remote company? And I even have this conversation all the time with my husband because he works remotely as well. But the company he works remotely for, like, basically, if you work remote, you don't promote, like, you don't advance from within ever. Like, once you decide to start working remotely, that is it for your career progression. Like, you just kind of stay where you're at. And we are very much not that way.
Would not survive if we could not promote from within, but
exactly. And so I think it's a really cool thing. I think that it makes me push him to fight back against that culture a little bit, because like, I can point to us as an example and be like, that's not correct, or that assertion that you're not as valuable because you're remote, like that, like, we could not function without our people. So
you don't just want to change our industry, you want to change James's industry too.
I absolutely do.
All right. Perfect.
Yeah. That's not a problem, is it?
No, not at all. Let's keep doing it.
See. What do you have other things that you wanted to ask me? Because we've got like 15 minutes to kill. Or we can end the show early and Jenny will kill me later. So
no, we never end shows early. Well, first off, do we have any audience questions before I move on? Is that a thing we're doing on this one? I don't even know.
It is. It absolutely is. If anybody has any questions for Eric or me about anything, you can tell us. I can go over the comments we have. So
before you do that,
yes.
I'm not here for filler. I was just curious because I got a fun question for you. You got to ask me the Mediavine one, and here's a question I've never asked you. To be a fly on the wall, what the heck did you say to James when we asked you to basically leave your job? You had a successful career for people that don't know. Fraud analyst. What's the name of it? Was it Silvertail?
Silvertail Systems,
the company you're talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was travel. People have probably heard about Travelocity. That was the company before Silvertail. So yeah,
a bigger name to household.
Yeah,
bigger household name.
Yeah. What did I say to James? Well, honestly, so we were expecting Evan, right? I was already pregnant with Evan, and I was traveling all over with Silvertail. I was flying all the time, and we started looking at the cost of daycare. And I said to him, I looked at him, emotionally pregnant as well as regularly pregnant. And I said, I did not fight 10 years and I'm very open about this. If anybody ever has any questions, we fought with infertility for 10 years. And I said, I did not fight for 10 years for this baby to leave him all the time. I don't want to leave him all the time. And he said, I agree. And also daycare's stupid expensive in New York City.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And he said, well, what would you do? And I said, well, I wouldn't want to stop working, but I think that I could talk to Eric and the guys about going full time on Food Fanatic. And I think that I could make my own schedule and it would work, and it would be something, it wouldn't be going immediately from no income from 2 incomes to no income. It would at least, be a little bit added to the family budget, and which is obviously a concern when you have a new baby on the way. And so he was like, well, yeah, I guess see if they would be willing to do that. And that's when I literally talked to you like the next day. I think we talked on the phone, and I was like, I'm really thinking about leaving. Would you take me on full time? And you were like,
can't afford you, but sure. Right.
Yeah. And then I think it was like, I don't know, a month later that our ad company crapped out, like after I left that job, and
made it even more stressful. Yeah, I know. No pressure, right?
You were really good about keeping positive about it, though. I never felt scared.
Really? Okay, good. Okay. Got to put on that face, right? It's my grandfather right there.
Yeah. If y'all don't know, Eric is always very, very positive, like always. We all got a little sappy at our employee all hands this past year. And I think, listening to Matt talk about when he met you and when he met Steve, and Steve talking about how like every time you came to them with a crazy idea, they just trusted you. And, and then I said, yeah, that's kind of the commonality that Matt, Steve, and I have, is that we trust Eric's harebrained ideas that they're going to work out, because he doesn't just do it half cocked. Like he thinks about it a lot. It might sound crazy, but he's thought of a lot of things.
And delivering it with that positive attitude that it can't fail, because in my heart or my brain, I don't know what you want to say, I don't think it's going to. And obviously we do throw some crap at the wall that doesn't always stick. What publishers probably don't realize is that every day we're kind of like A/B testing, like small little changes that we're making. So what's pretty cool. And I originally built our ad tech, 4 years ago now, right?
Yeah.
And about 2 years ago is when I handed off the reins to our engineers to completely take it over, which is crazy. That's something I'm also pretty proud of. I'm a little bit of a control freak, and handing off our ad technology was obviously a huge thing to do. So I'm proud of myself personally for being able to finally do that, and maybe be able to travel without a laptop one of these days.
I still don't do that.
Right. I theoretically could right now, finally. But yeah, so one of the cool things is when we used to test before, it was only testing on the Hollywood gossip because that was all we had the ability to. And then the guys, as we got big enough, we now test on like a tiny percentage of traffic across basically first always the Hollywood gossip. But then once it passes kind of that initial sniff test, then we roll it out to a small percentage. And people don't even see that it's happening, but basically we're running continuous A/B tests for every new feature. So not everything sticks is kind of the point of that story. And I wish I could bat 1,000 or whatever the sports metaphor is. 1,000, right? That's the baseball one.
Yes. Yeah, Eric doesn't do sports ball, guys.
I don't do sports ball.
So funny.
So I far from bat 1,000, but I mean, I think that's the important part is that our publishers, from their perspective, Mediavine kind of does bat 1,000 because we're able to test all that stuff due to our ridiculous framework that the guys have built. We've over-engineered the crap out of it. As I mentioned, like half this company is engineers, and most of them don't even come from an ad tech background. You look at most companies, they hire the same old ad tech engineers. They all keep passing around, and nobody else has systems like over-engineered like ours that we're able to do this kind of fun stuff.
Right.
So it just makes it look like you guys can always trust my crazy ideas.
Well, and honestly, I think that goes back to the original idea, right? We've never been just an ad company, and we never will be. We don't go at any problem that we have or any theory that we have as an ad company.
Right.
Like that's not the mindset here.
I think it helps that we didn't start as an ad company.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's not our background. That's not our, like we come from this as publishers, I know a lot of companies will claim things like that, but we are literally coming at this as publishers because that's our background.
Yeah.
We were publishers for like 10 years before we started doing ad management. So, for the next 6 years, I'm a publisher more so than an ad person. Maybe in 7 years, I'll have to officially switch, but until then, we're pubs.
Nah,
exactly.
you've still got other Fanatic sites out there you could start.
Are we launching new sites?
Right, My Fanatic. That's the one we killed.
We don't talk about that one.
We don't talk about that one.
Hanging out with Movie Fanatic somewhere.
Yeah, poor Movie Fanatic.
I know.
Philip Fryman said, huge difference with having creators leading the pack. Excited to see y'all in Austin. We're super excited to see you too. Everyone's talking about Boston, and I'll be honest with you guys. We did look at Boston as a conference location. We did. It's really expensive.
Yeah,
turns out. Christine Cook says, can't wait for news on Trellis. So exciting. And Ben Heath said, same here. Yes. I'm excited for them to see some of the designs around it. And, if you go and read that blog post with Kat Donegan, you might catch a little tiny sneak peek of something Trellis in there. Everyone rushes to look at it. Watch, she'll be the top post next State of the Union.
I mean, I will say on the Trellis front, like a lot of what is so exciting about this isn't even just the visual part. Kat has done a fantastic job, and don't get me wrong, every child theme that Kat designs is going to be beautiful. And our plan is obviously it's a framework. It's not just what Kat's going to design, but what everyone can design. But the under the hood stuff is so freaking cool, and that's what we're going to be talking about a lot tomorrow or 2 days. What day is today? Tuesday still?
Tuesday.
Okay. In 2 days that we'll be revealing. So there's a lot going on under the scenes. I mean, obviously, yes, we're going to show you what it looks like, and that's important. We're all visual people, and it's what our website looks like. It's the first impression, super important. But all the other stuff you can come to expect from Mediavine, like that's some of the cool stuff we'll be unveiling too.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I think people are really going to like what they see, but they are also going to like
what they hear. I don't know.
Okay, they're going to like the pretty stuff, but they're also going to like the page speed insights stuff. And, other stuff you might talk about too. Because we're excited for a lot of things coming down the pipeline. There's a bigger roadmap than I think probably anyone would realize for media.
So, yeah, I try not to scare. So Tim and Jordan are kind of our lead engineers here. and I try not to scare them too much. Jordan is one of these big dreamers, and Tim's more of the crusher of dreams. But I'll kind of like, I try not to go too many steps ahead, but like I have plans for, I don't know, years out of like solving a lot of these industry problems that plague us. And this is from advertising and publishing. Like you can't solve it all at once. Even at 60 employees, there's only so much we can do, right? Like if we had 500, there's probably limits to what you can build at one time. So the roadmap is,
I mean, I haven't even seen the whole roadmap. I just know you. So
just, again, you trust. Bat 1,000. Don't worry about it. We're fine.
Christine asks, will part of the conference be filmed? Yeah, actually, all the sessions will be filmed. So, and they'll be on our they'll be on our YouTube channel after the conference. Once we've gotten everything edited and pretty and all that good stuff, it'll be on the YouTube channel. And we'll we'll do.
It's good. We'll be able to edit it that time for when Eric accidentally says the name of the affiliate. Okay. Perfect.
Of the what?
No, I'm saying when I name affiliates by accident that we're not supposed to name.
Oh, right.
We can edit those. Then we'll show them.
Yes. Because we'll not bring that up again. Nobody rewind. We've got 5 minutes. Does anybody have any questions about life, the universe, everything? No, I can't. Hold on. I'm gonna look at Slack.
I'm not going to end it early. Don't worry. I can come up with more questions.
I'm sure you can.
All right. Well, you're checking Slack.
Yes.
Hope you can also hear my next question.
Okay.
So you asked this one to me. So when you first came on board, like when did you envision or see what this was becoming? Obviously.
I know the exact moment. Do you?
Okay. Yeah.
And I've mentioned it several times. So we had a call because I talk about this all the time, right? That no, it's not a reusable coffee cup. He's a horrible human being. Camilla, you should know that.
This mug that I mostly drink out of is reusable. When I have to run the Starbucks right before a live, it is not reusable. I am sorry. The good news is I don't frequent Starbucks that often.
Yeah. No, he frequents the Dunkin' Donuts with the styrofoam coffee cups instead.
No. And we don't have plastic straws down here anymore. It's fine.
That's the Dunkin' Donuts where they think you really are Bradley Cooper and you pull up and they give you free coffee.
So there's 2 Dunkin' Donuts right by my house. I don't go to the Bradley Cooper one that often. When I do, I have to go in persona as Bradley Cooper, which is very challenging. I cannot let them think that I moved out of Lighthouse Point.
So funny. Okay, so I talk a lot of whenever I talk of Mediavine history, right? Like the way that we started like running ads for other people was that my best friend Jamie Lothridge from My Baking Addiction asked if we would help her. Right. And so we had this really long phone call and I literally had been out shopping and you called me and said, I need to get on the phone with Jamie. So like we did a 3-way call and I sat in my driveway in my car on Bluetooth for an hour because I didn't want to lose the call. And we were chatting and we were just kind of talking about all the things that were going to go into putting ads on her site and how you had to get approval. But once you had approval for her, that it could, we could do it for anyone and blah, 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 blah. And Jamie and I both said to you, we're going to start an ad network. And you laughed at us. At us. And she and I still talk about that moment. And we're like, yeah, he sure did laugh at us. And then I think it was like the next week that She Knows and Blog Her merged. And suddenly you were like,
we're going to start an ad network. Well, yeah. So you are the fortune teller. So you did actually predict it way, way sooner than I ever could have. But
yeah.
So
I was sitting in my car. I was just going to say, I was sitting in my car in my driveway that literally the next week, Hurricane Sandy dumped a tree on. That's why it's so memorable to me, because I was sitting in the car in the exact spot that then the tree fell the next week. That's why.
Freaky.
Yeah.
So I know we're going to be wrapping up, but yeah, people that don't know this fun fact, in order to be able to become an ad network or to represent other people's inventory that you're not directly owning, so they have the terms owned and operated and then like represented inventory, was a big deal. So at the time, I was like, yeah, like we had to apply with each of our different kind of networks we work with, go through this whole pitch of what Mediavine is and why it's going to be different than ad networks. Ad networks have a bad stigma. There was an uphill battle that also had to happen behind the scenes that was like, there was some hesitation for a reason. It was like, it's one thing to help out Jamie, but to go like from publisher to ad management or ad network, whew, that was fun.
Yeah.
Don't want to have to relive those days ever again.
No, that was, there was a lot of nerve-wracking nights and yeah, I remember that pretty well. All right. We reached our hour. Hey, we made it.
Yeah, we did it.
So our next live is Wednesday, June 19th at 3 p.m. Eastern with Jordan Cawley, our publisher engineering manager, to talk about Trellis. So not only will Eric and Jordan be talking about it at the conference, we will be doing a live about it. So make sure that you come and watch and write down all your questions, and hopefully Jordan can answer quite a few. All right.
He can't, no one can. Yeah, I just want to say that April is my new favorite publisher. So thank you. She confirmed what the Dunkin' Donuts lady thought, and that's great. Without even having the big Bradley Cooper sunglasses on. So thank you, April.
Right. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. And Jenny will be back with us next week. So we will resume the more professionally produced Summer of Live videos, we promise. All right, everybody.
No way. People love the hotel background. You're fine with the terrible Wi-Fi. Oh, good.
Yes, great. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week, and we'll see you at the conference. Yay!
Bye, guys.
Bye.